We do have a chronic, immediate need right now, a crisis of shelter.
Utah counted nearly 3,700 people experiencing homelessness on a single night last year.
Every winter we end up with far less beds than we actually need, and we just keep making the same mistakes over and over.
But a lack of permanent, year-round shelter beds have left hundreds of Utahns with no other option but to camp outside in the elements.
I've seen people waiting up to 8 months for housing, up to a year in the shelters.
I'm Fox 13 investigative reporter Taylor Stevens. This is why Utah's system for helping its homeless isn't working as intended and what's being done about it.
All right, here you go, my friend. Here you go.
There's a lot of people that want to be inside that do not like being out here.
I don't need nothing. I just need you to stay warm tonight.
Darren Ball says he's been homeless in Salt Lake City for the last year. He lives outside and relies on street outreach services, like this hand sanitizer homeless advocates are passing out.
And they use it to heat their tents so that they can stay alive out here in the cold nights.
He's been camping here in North Temple or in the Ballpark neighborhood.
Hopefully that'll get us through the winter.
Thank you.
And says he'd rather be in a shelter, but every time he tries, they're full.
I can't make it to my job because I can't sleep proper because it's too cold because, so I'm missing out on opportunities to get back into society by working and not having the place to clean up, and that's affected my visits with my kids, everything, it's everything. I can't, I'll start crying about it.
Welcome to Southeast Utah, where what is old is new again. Uranium.
I mean, it's certainly very hot, right? Prices are high.
The ore taken from this mine is supposed to go into nuclear reactors around the world. Utah has been here before.
This uranium mine, long after we're gone, it's going to be there, no matter what, for thousands of years.
I'm Fox 13 investigative reporter Nate Carlisle. We'll drill down into what's causing the boom this time. The clicking of the Geiger counter,
This yellow, it's just so hot.
is music to the ears of these uranium miners.
What's it reading, Sheldon?
About 60.
When it's really going off like that, you know you're in your good uranium.
32 miles southeast of Moab, Utah.
All these go off one at a time. I shoot it off with this fuse.
But the big noise came when Whoa, okay, yeah, I felt that concussion. They detonated explosives. Almost like a breeze come through, but it was a hard-hitting breeze.
Under Idaho's strict abortion ban, doctors are sometimes sending pregnant patients with severe health complications to reliably blue states, like Oregon and Washington.
We don't want our children, our daughters, our sisters to have to leave to access health care that could save their lives.
But some Idaho women are also being sent here to Utah, as women's access to health care depends on which side of the state line they're on and which state laws they're under.
I think it's easy to, sit in the Capitol, deem what you think is right. All policies have unintended consequences.
I'm Fox 13 investigative reporter Taylor Stevens. This is how Idaho's laws, which prioritize the life but not the health of pregnant mothers, are affecting Utah.
Think of the cost, think of the trauma, and think of how to get somebody, all the way to Salt Lake City from here.
And what could be next for abortion access here?
Everyone deserves access to emergency health care.
Let our doctors do their jobs. That was a key message we saw at a recent abortion rights rally in Boise, Idaho.
And now the very definitions of what it means to be a true family.
The public came to protest the state's near total abortion ban.
I'm needing the sex offense treatment program. I'm just burning up time here. There's not a lot of options for me just to start wells.
That's a Utah prison inmate who's been calling me and sending me letters, talking about how he can't get into therapy. I wondered, how could that be? We were all promised new billion-dollar prison would provide more treatment.
So that there can be more programming here, so that we can give these incarcerated individuals the tools to fix their lives.
Turns out dozens of inmates aren't receiving treatment, and they're having to stay behind bars longer because of it.
I hear it directly from inmates, hey, my parole date was moved because you couldn't get me the treatment that I needed.
I'm Fox 13 investigative reporter Nate Carlisle. We're asking why the new prison isn't delivering what the taxpayers were promised.
It's just a lack of resources. Not enough counselors.
That's Franklin Carroll. Frank, as I've gotten to know him through all the calls and letters, he's in prison for multiple sex crimes. These notes from the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole make clear that if he wants parole next year, he needs to take that sex offender treatment course. It teaches things like thinking errors and victim empathy. So, how are you spending your days in the prison?